This is the freaking Frack Show, a podcast for the fans, by the fans.
A show about everything from the 90s to the 2000s. Everything's on the table from the Backstreet Boys to Saving Private Ryan. Did I mention your host, Sam Matthew Taylor and Casey Bryan? Yeah, the freaking Frack Show. Yeah, the freaking Frack Show. The Frick and Frack Show.
Guys, who's ready for some little Joey Fatone today? I can't hear you guys. All right, Mr. Joey Fatone.
All 30 of you, it's good to see you. Yeah, probably yelling. You have to have a microphone. Hi. Sorry, I know you were looking for Nick Carter, so you got me. Too damn bad, people. No, I'm teasing. But Nick, actually, if you guys weren't wondering, yeah, he's been rehearsing with the whatever they called those guys.
Backstreet Boys.
Sure, whatever. Back seat, something. Yeah. Yeah, I can say that. He's my friend. I was trying to text Nick right now, but he's in rehearsals with Backstreet. That's why. So he's doing the DNA tour. I guess they're coming back out in Vegas for a while, and they're doing a whole tour. So literally, I've called him up like, "Where are you, dude?" And he's like, "Oh, I can't. I'm in rehearsals." I'm like, "Okay." So sorry, guys, you got me. I know it's better. Trust me, it's better than Nick Carter. Trust me, it's boring as hell. So go ahead, shoot, brother. What's going on, man?
How are you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. I'm a little warm now, but it's getting warm.
I'm gonna take mine off too because actually I'm feeling it
This is a
too.
different kind of show, but I'll take a jacket off.
So first of all, we are in the great state of Georgia.
Yes.
Tell me about your experiences.
Oh my gosh, Georgia. Are you kidding me? Georgia has been great. I mean, back in the day, we used to tour, of course, with nsync around here. Interesting many times of being here. Actually, there was one time I was here for Super Bowl. I remember that in Atlanta, which was pretty crazy back in the day. Because, you didn't get in trouble because they didn't have phones or cameras or anything. So you didn't get in trouble and hang out with the wrong people. No, but it was fun. I mean, for me, it's always like, I live in Orlando, Florida. And to me, it's like always kind of like that Southern hospitality. That's what I always feel, So it's kind of feeling at home. So whoever's from Atlanta, hi guys. And from people out of town, what's up?
How many of you guys are from Atlanta?
From Atlanta?
We live here.
12
Sort of.
people.
Good. That's a good answer.
Sort of.
We're trans.
You just pick and choose when you want to be here? Is it
We still claim our home state.
Are you ashamed?
Beautiful. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'm originally from New York, but Florida.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We got some New Yorkers.
Three.
Yeah.
See.
It's
So,
all-
Right? Too much. Any more than that, it's going to be loud as hell in here.
so speaking of which, man, you had just made a comment about something crazy, like the time before cell phones, the time before internet.
Yep.
What are those days like for you?
Nice. No, it was one of those things. To be really honest, it's more or less of being in the moment. And there's nothing wrong with taking out your phones, videotaping a few times. But when you're at a concert and you're constantly holding this, then what? Then you bring it back, you're like, oh my God, it was great. And half the camera's shaking and shit, and you're doing something you can't see and things are, and you're like, oh, it's really good. No, it's good. Because I've even done it. So it's even funnier because I've done it before. So it was just one of those things. Now it's like, do those things, but after, forget about it. Live in the moment. Live in what you should enjoy. It should all be here. Yes, take a couple of clips to remind you and to say, hey, that was good, and rub it in people's faces that you were there. But you don't have to do the whole concert or the whole whatever it is, whatever you're doing. So yeah, I mean, again, it was just different. Back in the day too, we had the little SkyTel beamers where you're like, hey, be my number up. It used to be in the number text message for people that don't really know what a SkyTel is. Showing my age, people. Old people. Yeah.
That's right. Shout out to them old people, right? So the funny thing about that, man, is we have a lot of people on our show, and we get a lot of nsync fans to come on and tell us about their experience.
I'm sorry.
And well, it's the funniest thing because like Chris Patrick, he was on our show, and one of the things that we were talking about was there's a lot of footage, there's a lot of photos, but back in the day there wasn't a lot of photos being taken at these concerts. Like things were just, like you said, living in the moment.
Yeah, people instead of have phones, they had glow sticks. Now they have their lights up in the air with their phones. Back in the day, there was.
But
you made a crap load of money off glow sticks. That was great.
But they still had beach balls, right?
At times we did that a few times, yeah. We did. Or we had actually these cannons that we shot t-shirts in the air too.
Those were the days.
God, so to bring those back and just, we used to try to aim to see how high, because if you went any lower, you'd knock somebody out with that. So you want to do that.
That's crazy, man.
Throw the t-shirt to me. Thanks.
I don't know if you can throw t-shirts.
Well, I did, you know, it's a funny story. I did something really dumb, but I did a charity event called Challenge for the Children, speaking of getting hit in the head. And I had these sneakers that we wore for the event, and I was like, all right, throw them in the audience for charity, you know, whatever. You know, people want that crazy stuff. I took the sneaker and I threw it, and the person that I was throwing it to wasn't looking. Smacked her right in the face. And I went, oh, would you like a front row up into the show? Sorry. No, but it was funny. It sucked, but it was like, who wants it? And she was like, yeah. I was like, you didn't catch it. But throwing things, that's what it related to. Sorry.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's funny. Right? She wanted it. She got to shoot.
I'm pretty sure she was.
She did say thank you though. And I was like, okay, you're welcome.
Some of the best stories is always the injury stories of our lives, right?
Many, yes, and I'm prone to many injuries.
What was the worst thing ever happened to you for injury
I
wise?
broke my leg. I almost broke my leg in a pop-up, like one of these pop-up things. It was right before we did our pop video with nsync, and I had staples in my leg. So the trap door basically released and slid up as I was picking myself up. It released the lever by accident, and I caught my knee literally as I was lifting up. It slid up and slammed it. So that was fun. Yeah. So Wade Robson had to come in for me for the video and take my spot because I couldn't really even almost stand up on it. So it took about a couple of weeks before I hobbled along and went on tour. It happened. Hey, show must go on though.
Yeah, and you did. You always
Fake it till I make it.
So when it comes down to pre-nsync, you remember those days or
Nope.
No?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So what was life before nsync? Before any, let's just say, not to be rude, but before anybody knew your name.
Yeah, no,
right?
they knew my name. It was like Cheers. The cool thing about it was for me is a lot of people, my friends of mine from school, they always say I've never changed. I really haven't. What you see is what you get. I'm still silly and say stupid crap all the time. Yeah, it's just me. It's just like I don't know. I've grown up, but I think my personality, I've never really changed. I've never been like, oh, well, you know, I'm now Joe. I should be Joe. I'm Joey back then, but now I should be Joe because I'm adult. No, I'm still freaking 12 years old. Call me Joey. It's okay. So it's like I don't know. I just never. Yeah, I just never went to another level where I had to be something else. Like even with my kids, people laugh because I'll be with my kids. I'm like, hey, don't do that. And they're like, wow, you're actually a father. You actually reprimand your kid or tell them don't do this or that. I'm like, yeah, wouldn't you? If the kid's hanging from a chandelier, yeah, you would too. Get the heck down.
You know, it's the craziest thing because, like, you know, growing up, we go through a lot of things. We go through good things, we go through bad things. But like with you, you know, you were always, especially at the time with nsync, and even to now, like, you know, you're in the spotlight. You know, so it's a bit different when, like, you know, I do something behind the scenes and you know, one or two people know. But like with you,
wouldn't you like to know what I do behind the scenes? No, nothing really. That's the funny part. I was raised in a certain way, and that's kind of the way I've been. So whatever, you know, people have been raised different ways, or the way, you know, sometimes they even been raised one way and they go, that's not the way I want to be. I want to go this way and change the direction. I don't know. Just been, you know, my parents. Still married, still together. They yell at me still right now for this thing. You know, whatever I do, if I do stupid stuff, my mom will still hit me with a shoe. So yeah, 100%. Yes.
Your mom would always say, you know, don't get on TV on that news, Joey.
Yeah, no. One time there was a time where there was a woman being really rude, like taking photos of me while we were eating, and I even said to her prior to, when you're done eating, I'd be more than happy to take the photo. And they were like, okay. And then I get this. And they're taking constantly. And she came up to me, she goes, can we take that picture now? I said, ma'am, I've never been really rude, but I mean, I told you I would love to take the picture, but I want to do it outside, and your kids were taking pictures the whole time. No, they weren't. I said, well, let me see the phone. And she goes, and I was like, and then, as I'm saying that, I get smacked in the back of my head because my mom is sitting next to me at dinner and says, you go outside, you take that picture right now. Okay, Mom. So I took the picture anyway. But you know, again, it's like I've never been, you know, for me, like I said, I'm always happy-go-lucky. I've never like, I don't know, you have to do something really interesting to kind of like get like under my skin. I don't know, it just doesn't, not that way. I'm just happy.
You were raised right.
I hope so. We're not the greatest kids, you know. We were
Behind the scenes, we're not, right?
No, I just broke stuff. Stitches and broken bones and jumping off stupid things. So that's what I did. Rambunctious.
So when it comes down to this old thing, I don't know if you remember this, right? But MTV Cribs.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where were you?
Where was I?
Where was your episode?
My episode was the 100th episode, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Because they asked me over and over and over, and I was like, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. And they're like, what's the episode? Like, well, we're doing the last episode. It's like the 100th episode. We're not doing it again. They came back and they're doing it now, actually. Because I got a phone call to do it again. I was like, do you realize how big my house was last as opposed to now? I've gotten older and smarter that I don't need a big house anymore. I want to go on vacations, do fun things, as opposed to having upstairs that my kid only lived up there and I never saw. So why the hell do I have this stuff? So when people have big houses like that, yeah, there's nothing wrong with affording it, but it's just why have it? Because you can? Okay, good for you. And honestly, for me, I was young and stupid, and I did the same thing. I bought a house. It was like 4 acres, 10,000 square feet. It was ridiculous. So it was like, literally, I woke up one day, and I remember before I had my second child, so my first child literally was upstairs, my master bedroom was downstairs, and she was the only one upstairs. There was like 4 bedrooms up there, had a playroom and all stuff. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, what is really the reason, especially for my family? Like, what am I doing? Like, why? So we moved to California though for a while, and then I was like, that's too damn expensive. Let's go back to Florida. No state tax, even better. So moved back to Florida though, but it just went smaller. It just was like, this is way better. I don't have this not much of a headache. Something breaks, it's not, $40 or $400. It's $4,000 in a huge ginormous house. I'm like, why am I doing this? So yeah, no, got smarter. So hope that'd be a listen to you young people buying a house. Buy small. Don't do anything big. Seriously, it sucks.
Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to line up. I don't know if the
Or just
microphone-
yell. It's okay. It's not that big of a crowd. I can hear you all. So if you want to raise your hand, raise it. I'll point to you.
Yeah,
Yell and scream it
exactly.
out. Don't be shy. Yes, nsync is not getting back together. If that's the next question. Has everybody asked that damn question? So I'm going to answer right out of the gate. I have no idea. No, I don't know. What's Justin like? He's awesome. JC is quiet. Chris is a pain in the ass. And Lance is sweet. Any other questions?
That covers about 50% of the questions.
Yes.
Chris Kirkpatrick recently went on Celebrity Big Brother. Did you watch him on that, and would you ever consider going on?
Hilarious enough, I've never watched it, but I watched it when he was on it. But then I went to go travel somewhere, and when I came back, he texted us on a group text saying, hey guys, I didn't have my phone. I just wanted to say happy birthday because it was me and Justin's birthday around that time. And I texted him and said, hey, what happened? Are you on anymore? Did you get kicked off? And he said, F you. Because I had no idea he got kicked off. I was like, oh, sorry, Chris. More of a joke, obviously. But yeah, no, it was, I don't think I'll ever go on Big Brother. I know Lance and Chris are huge Big Brother fans. I don't know. I've done Dancing with the Stars and Masked Singer. Those competitions are a lot more fun for me, I think. Yeah. I think it's just more fun. They're a lot, I don't know. I don't need people knowing, not saying knowing, but people trying to get under my skin to figure things out, because I'm really good at that and I'll piss people off, which would be fun. Kill them with kindness, people. Kill them. I'm sure Tajik was like that. I remember he was like, I heard he was cutthroat some of the stuff he was saying. And I didn't see that episode. I don't know if I'm sure if you've watched that. He was like, didn't he say something? Tajik was like, your son's gonna be really embarrassed by you or something like that. I was like, oh my gosh. Like he did a good job of just digging him, and I could have said a lot of things that I would have, but I'll show you. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
So first thing I wanted to tell you, we have 4 degrees of separation.
Okay.
My mother worked with your cousin Tony
Okay.
at AT&T.
Yeah.
And he talked so highly of you, and I learned so many things about you as a kid.
Yes.
Not that I didn't, I was an instant.
My Uncle
but
Anthony.
Regardless, he talked wonderfully to you, by the way. But my mom loved him. But I wanted to specifically ask you about the Masked Singer. How was that process, and how exhilarating was it?
It was fun. It was one of those things where it was really weird because how I got approached to it, because they were casting a whole bunch of people, and the woman that casts Dancing with the Stars, little probably not now anymore, but in the beginning of the first seasons of Masked Singer, if you looked at who the people were, a lot of them did Dancing with the Stars or were on Dancing with the Stars, because the casting lady that cast that show as well. So she called up and sometimes she talks to my manager and myself about other people for Dancing with the Stars who they should get. And then she was like, hey, I got this show called Masked Singer. And he was like, well, what is this about? I said, well, it's a singing competition. Do you really want to do it? I was like, well, what exactly does it entail? It's like, well, nobody knows who you are. We're keeping it all hush-hush. We don't show anybody who's who, and you're dressed in a costume. So there's I think it was a Korean version of it, where it was literally just these big capes, but a really small, cheap, flat mask. And I know Ryan Reynolds did it, and that's how it kind of kicked off of the idea. He did it because he was promoting for Deadpool, and he sang The Sun Will Come Out or something like that. It was really funny. So nobody knew who it was, and he puts it off, that's right. So they asked me, they said, okay, here's the two pictures. And one was an alien, and it was this kind of black, shiny alien with these huge tentacles that came way out and like arched in like this. And I'm looking at it going, that looks really cool, but you want me to like dance and sing in that thing? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, no way. Rapping's a lot easier. I was like, he's in a straight jacket, that's cool. I like that. I was like, that's badass. Exactly. So get the costume and Lily kind of thrown into it. I was in California at the time. And they're like, all right, well, we're doing the head size for the head right now. Do you want to come in? I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. So I was able to put the red eyes in there. There weren't lights in there. And I was like, can we put lights in there to make it almost like a Donnie Darko kind of thing? I vibe for it. And they're like, yeah, sure, we can do that. I was like, oh, cool. Then they're like, well, you need to be the rabbit. And they're like trying to be really producing crap. And you're going, what do you mean by the rabbit? What are you talking about? I'm in a costume trying to sing. I can barely breathe in this damn thing. What do you mean? Well, be the rabbit, like hop around or something. Like, hop around? I'm like, no. So I'm like, all right, I'm a straight jacket. And then I saw something on America's Got Talent where there was a woman that was a magician, but she was in this gown, like almost like The Ring. And she would sit there and she would twitch. She wouldn't say a word and she would point to things and make you do things. I was like, that's creepy. I'm going to steal that. So I stole it, and that's the twitching thing, which I'm happy I did that more than a hop. But after a while, because the head was heavy, that every time I did this, the whole thing would shift. So the next day, I was going, why does this hurt so much? But yeah, the show was a lot of fun because they didn't show. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the competition. I mean, I was standing by right next to LaToya Jackson, had no idea. You know, I'm hanging by Donnie Osmond, which I've known for many years. But the funny thing was, we're shaking each other's hands and making noise, like not even. I'm laughing hysterically, going, "What are we doing?" because they didn't want us to talk. So even though the audience wasn't there and they were doing rehearsals, there was one point where all of us had to be in one room. So we're all standing there, just shaking each other's hand and looking and pointing and going, "Okay, who the heck are you?" And we're trying to size everyone up, looking. I'm like, I can't tell who anybody is. So they really do keep it a secret. People always ask, how do they do that? And you're literally in your own little trailer. You come out, even for people that work with you, if they work with you, like my manager, so they didn't want people knowing who's who, they had to wear a robe, they had to wear a mask every time that they walked backstage. So it was fun. It was cool.
Very lonely.
It was a little bit. I mean, they had handles and people there, and then with the rehearsal stuff, what was annoying a few times is they kept wanting you to put on a mask, and not the mask itself. It was like the shield. But I'm like, you can't. It's hot as heck. You're trying to rehearse. You're trying to figure it out before you put on the mask. Let that get into your body, and then put the mask on. But it was a few times they were like, "Oh, you do this during the rehearsal?" I'm like, "Well, why? Nobody's in the room. There's like one person, and they know who I am. It's like usually the vocal coach and the choreographer will know who they are. Other than that, even dancers didn't know who we are. I knew two women. One was a dancer in a singing bee show I hosted, and another one is my best friend's wife. And she didn't even know. The best thing was a couple nights before that we were having dinner. My buddy Tom knew, but Shannon did not. And Shannon's going, oh my gosh, there's a show called Masked Singer. You'd be amazing for it. They have a rabbit, they have a peacock. And I'm like, that's great. So we never got a chance to do it. The very last, right before I got kicked off, we were doing rehearsals, and I was doing, oh gosh, what was it? If I didn't get kicked off, I would have done Mustang Sally. So we were rehearsing the two songs. She was finally one of my dancers for the performance. So during the rehearsals, I had the thing on. I'm just standing there because I know she know my body language. I start moving around. She just starts looking. I didn't sing yet. And then the minute I started singing, she goes, "Oh, you son of a gun!" I just stepped on her foot and I just looked at her. She's like, "Oh," I'm like, and I didn't say I obviously can't say anything. So there's an 8-hour answer for Masked Singer. What's your question?
I heard you've been doing improv. How's that going, and what got you into it?
Lately, not at the moment, but yes, I've done stuff with Wayne Brady a few times. I've done some stuff with some of the guys from Jokers, and some people actually worked on Jokers. There's a troupe out in Utah that does this whole improv stuff. I love it. I've always done it back in high school. I mean, my stuff was when I did drama. I did acting. That's what I did. So a lot of that stuff was, improvisational stuff. I did Shakespearean plays. We did one-act dramatic plays. We had a really good magnet program in high school, to where we were doing 3 production shows a year in the high school year, where usually kids are like, you do one production. We did 3. Literally right at the minute the school started, they were already auditioning for the Shakespearean play. We would do that in the middle of the year, we'd do the one act, and at the end we'd do a musical. So it was like go, go, go. So it was really cool because she really prepped us for stuff like, stuff that I'm doing even now. Because like some people don't know, there's some like summer stock theater that people do. You learn the show in a week. You learn it literally, rehearsal, lines, songs, everything you learn in a week. The show goes up for 2 weeks and it's done. And you're like, what just happened? And it's a whirlwind, but it gets your body and your brain going. So learning stuff like that back in the day kind of keeps you on your toes. I love it, it's fun. Proud stuff is fun. Yeah.
I just had a quick question about the math.
I have a quick answer.
So for like the judges, was it funny, like some of their answers to the evaluator, especially Ginny?
Well, the beginning, the first season, they gave it was too easy. I think the little hints were too. It was the rabbit tearing a heart, and then there was 5 guys on a string. Now, of course, if you lived under a rock and you didn't know anything about nsync, but it was really, I think those were just kind of easy. But the funny part was, is the minute the first performance I did, my manager got a call from Robin Thicke's manager. Is Joey Fatone doing the show? Donnie texted me and literally said, hey, my wife is on some show, are you the rabbit? And I go, I have no idea what you're talking about. So we all played it all in, and then, because it's funny, because people always like, come on, tell me, come on, you were, because when I was promoting something, and people were asking me, are you the rabbit? And I'm like, no. And people were, man, you lied. I said, well, it's a fun white lie. I didn't lie about, something stupid or silly or whatever, something else I would probably lie about, but yeah, that was the only kind of white lie I did, so yeah, it's fun, it's good, crazy. They're good people though, they were funny. Jenny's really good at that though. Jenny's really good at kind of picking people.
Not this season.
No? I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I think I see it.
How did Dead Seven come about?
Nick Carter. Frickin' Nick. It was funny. He called me up one day actually and said, hey, I got this script I want to do. The guys from Sharknado, they're thinking about possibly producing it for me. This. He hands me something like about that thick. Cool. He calls me one week. Hey, did you read it? No, Nick, I didn't read it yet. Calls me another week. Did you read it yet? Nick, dude, it looks like a Bible. I'm not reading it right now. Just tell me what it's about. So it went from one story and it kind of obviously got chopped down. It always happens with scripts and stuff like that, but they were writing it as we were doing it. And we all flew to Montana. It was like the first time a lot of us got together or got to know each other, hang out. I hung out with Howie a lot because we were in a lot of scenes together, so that was fun. Nick's wife was pregnant at the time. So he was always kind of, and nobody knew, and he didn't say anything to anybody, and she was also in the film where it looked like, I'm like, are you okay? She just didn't look happy. She was pregnant. But it was one of those things where it was just a cool thing because even Howie came up to me one day, he's like, I gotta ask you a question. He's like, how did you guys actually get together? Like he never knew the actual real story of how we got together as a group. And it was just funny as like, me and AJ one time were in a hotel room, I wish it was a fly on the wall, we recorded. We're going back and forth about who has the better harmonies when we're singing a cappella, and I'm like, no shot, buddy. I'm like, let me let you hear this. And we're going back and forth listening to different things of like things that we've never heard before. Like live versions of something he did. He's like, oh, you gotta listen to this. I'm like, yeah, 3-part harmony, dude. It's not 5-part. I like to bust his chops. Yeah.
You like being on Hannah Montana?
Yeah, I like being on Hannah Montana. That's funny. I did an episode of Hannah Montana a while back. I looked like a baked potato. I was in a looked like a gold lame outfit. I don't know what it was. Long story short on that one though, it was really interesting because I did that during the time I was doing Dancing with Stars. Her dad was on it as well with me. So I was like, hey man, I said, my daughter's a really huge Hannah Montana fan, loves Miley. She's like, oh man, that's great. You know what? Maybe we'll put you on a show. I was like, all right, that'd be cool. A week later, I got a call. Literally, here's the script. You're gonna play this guy. He's a baseball player. Blah blah blah. I was like, all right, this is fun. Let's do it. So yeah, it was a blast. It was interesting because now seeing Miley now. From then it's like you were a little girl and now you're grown up and taking your clothes off. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Anyone else? Bueller? Shoot.
First, my sister's a really big fan. Are you able to give her a quick shout out? Her name's Victoria.
Hi Victoria, sucks to be you, you're not here.
Second, her question is, this is a throwback. Do you love or regret being in the movie On the Line with Lance Bass?
Totally regret it. Awful. I'm kidding. No, are you kidding me? It was like one of the first films I did, so it was just fun. I was kind of myself, but not. And then my hair was all multicolored and weird. But no, it was fun. No, it was, again, it's one of those things where, you have to get your feet wet into something. And you never know what that is. You know what I'm saying? As far as, for me, I've always wanted to do film. I always wanted to do television. I always wanted to act. So it went from like doing that to doing my Big Fat Greek Wedding. I did a movie called The Cooler. So it's like, it's slowly progressed. I'm not like huge. I'm not like, oh, I need to be an actor. Not like that. I'm just like, hey, if it's fun, it's fun. I'll do it. That's the great part about me now is the choices I make are just things that I want to do. I don't have to do them. That's cool. Same thing like with doing these Comic-Cons. I love doing it because it's fun to get out to travel, obviously, make a little bit of money, nothing wrong with that. But also for me, it's like traveling. I haven't seen people that I've toured, like back in the day, touring a lot. We're always in different cities. I travel a little bit, but more if it's working as opposed to not seeing people and fans and people that want to come out. So doing these cons gives me that outlet. So it's been fun.
So that actually brings up another point. Was you kind of, in a way, left the music industry?
Yeah,
you kind of said, no, I'm going to actually try a couple of different things.
Right.
You started hosting different things. You started doing had different opportunities. So what kind of drove you there? What kind of made you make that decision?
Just loved acting, loved performing, that's the thing about me is people people were born to do specific things, even like Justin, you would say, or JC, they're writers. They're great writers. I can't write to save my life. Everything would come out probably dirty. But if I did some songs, I'd probably do it, and it'd be fun. But I'm not like that savvy in that. I'm not like, oh, I need to. I just love to perform. I love to perform. Even like doing stuff when I did it on Broadway. I did Rent on Broadway and Little Shop of Horrors. So I love telling stories. I love those kind of reactions right out of the gate. I mean, acting is even, again, acting is fun as far as on film, but it's so weird because you're not getting the reaction right away. So to say, oh, hey, Ian, we're going to kill you, doesn't sound funny when you do it 20 times, and then you see it on the big screen, like, okay, I get it now. It works with everything.
You think cue everything. And it's
Exactly. But so it's, I don't know. Like I said, I just love performing. So any kind of aspect in that nature or anything like that, I love doing it.
So you're a big Broadway freak. Let's just say that. So when it comes down to Broadway, tell me about your experience with Broadway, because I'm a huge Broadway.
Yeah, no. The funny part was I went to always wanted to do Broadway. After nsync, I was like, you know what? I'd love to do this A, B, C, and D. My tour manager actually was very heavily into Broadway and knew a lot of the producers and stuff on that. So I was like, hey, is there anything out there you think I'd be good for or try to audition for? And he was like, well, Rent's always a good show. And I remember being in high school watching 1995, a long time ago. When it was out, people were like, all my friends from high school, oh my God, I can't wait to, when I graduate, I'm going to audition for Rent. And I'm like, never heard the music back then. So let's just say everybody was pissed off that I was in Rent because I never listened to the music back then. But people were like, yeah, so what part you want to sing? Or what character? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, what character you want? We'll pick one. I'm like, how do you know if I'm even right for the job? I may suck. Like, how do you even know? Like, seriously, I was like, I want to do an audition. They're like, really? I'm like, yes. How would you? Again, you don't know. Nobody knows if I'm that good. How do you even know? So went to audition. I'm like, oh, yeah, not bad. So they put me in, I was Mark in Rent. And then I did Little Shop of Horrors where I was a very ginormous Seymour, which was a lot of fun. I've also did 42nd Street and The Producers in Pittsburgh. And then I did Rock of Ages in Vegas, which was a lot of fun. Played Dennis Dupree, which was cool as heck. So yeah, it was one of those things where I love Broadway, I love performing, I love the live theater. I just saw Beetlejuice not too long ago before the pandemic. It's coming back, Alex. And I'm trying to, I know, Alex is awesome, but I'm taking that job at some point. So
yeah. You'd be perfect.
It's a great show. Yeah, Alex does a great job.
You're fun, you're silly, you got it.
He's doing his short end of it, and he's almost done, so trust me, I'm going to try to get my butt in. It's fun, it's a lot of fun. If you like musicals, it's fun.
Wow.
Okay.
Hi, Joey, I'm Cindy.
How you doing? Cindy, how you doing? Sit.
What do your kids think about, like, are they?
They think I'm a dork.
Think you're,
Yeah, my kids think I'm a dork.
Think you're a regular?
Oh yeah, no, my older one thinks I'm a dork now, and her friends think I'm cool. My little one thinks it's funny and tries to get the perks out of it. Sometimes, yeah. Or I explain to her, I even say to her, I said, Daddy gets to do fun things and cool things. Not everybody gets a chance to do things like this. Not everybody gets to cut a line at Disney all the time when they do something for work for them. That doesn't happen. And then when Daddy doesn't work for them, guess what? We on the line. We stand there and we wait, just like everybody else. So it's one of those things where you have to, I kind of coaxed her and let her know this is not normal. You know?
It's like the reason why you got to go to the Star Cruiser, right?
It's not normal. Yeah, it's not normal. You know, I got a chance, a buddy of mine, you know, pull some strings, and I was the dork over at Star Wars with Jedi outfit with my daughter. They just opened up the new Star Wars cruiser. Sorry?
They like the benefits, but you're still dorky.
Exactly. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Which, by the way, can you kind of tell us about that? Like the Star Cruiser?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. If you've never heard about it or anything, they opened up a new hotel. It's like a Starship cruiser. You're supposed to be on like a cruise in space. You definitely can walk out, but you're in this hotel for 2 days. But it's very immersive. So if you not into Star Wars, then don't do it. I will say that. And it's expensive.
Yeah.
So I will say that too. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's one of those things where you're literally immersive. There's people around you who have these like the kind of things, like, fun like things with like literally like you're running around with Chewbacca and stuff like that. Yeah, hang on.
First of all, oh my God, I'm so happy to finally see you. Last time I seen you was actually in 1999.
Okay.
Make us all feel old.
Well, yeah, thank you very much.
In Tampa, Florida. Are you guys planning on maybe doing just one more tour?
Yeah, you were
All
late.
of
You didn't
guys?
get a story. You know what? I say never say never. I will say that, but I have no damn clue. I know Justin's writing his next album right now. Chris is being a dad. I've been doing obviously cons and working in hosting Common Knowledge. Lance has twins, so he's been doing that. So I don't know. Honestly, I can't. I wish I could say yes, or wish I could even say no. I have no idea.
Because now my daughter is obsessed with you. So now
I'm
that
sorry.
the generation, now that the generation's going, and I just wanted to say, we love you guys.
I appreciate that. You know, we'll see. Hopefully one day, maybe. You never know.
I thought I was going to have to take this one to the emergency room in Tampa, chasing your bus.
Was it outside? Was it the stadium one? Do you
It
know?
was.
It raining out? Do you remember that?
Oh my! No, it was not raining, but it was cold, and I had really big heels, and I chased your bus.
Why?
Because I love you.
All right.
But I literally chased your bus for about 3 blocks in these big old heels. Well, I'm glad I made your day.
Well, I'm glad. Yes, you did. I'm sorry for that. I apologize. Don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself with the heels.
No, well, you guys are who you guys are,
I
and
appreciate
that is what we love about it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I get. You know, it's one of those things where in life you come across certain things. Like even for myself, I was a huge New Kids fan.
Yep.
So that was my that was my nsync. I know it sounds funny, but it was. New Kids was my stuff because if I wasn't inspired, then I probably wouldn't have been nsync. I wouldn't have been inspired to do what I do because I want to do that. People were like, "Well, that's like sissy stuff." I'm like, dude, do you see how many women are in that arena right now? Whatever your preference is, I don't care. But do you see how many women are in that arena? I want to do that. That's what I want to do.
My ringtone is actually, it's gonna be me.
Sweet. Okay.
What is your dream job? I'd say.
Sleep. Be in a hotel and just sleep. No. My dream job. I don't know. You know what? Again, I love all aspects. That's why. And you know what? It's so much fun because, and what's great about me is, thank goodness, I don't suck at everything, but I'm not the greatest at everything. But I'm able to kind of jump into things. But I like that because, say for instance, again, you got some of these people that are on The Walking Dead. They've been on it for seasons. They're shooting the same character. I don't have to deal with that. I just pop in, do a certain character, leave, or I play myself. So it's great to be in something like that. But there's a lot of people though. You think about that when they do sitcoms and they're like, I'm burnt out. I'm people and friends, I'm sure, will like towards the end, I want to get out of here, just because of the fact that you're in that repetition and you're going. You want to change your mind. You want to do something expanded. Go out of the norm. Go off the beaten path. And I think that's why some people, celebrities, do Masked Singer and all those shows. It's because it's completely different and not their norm. Yeah.
This one's scared about the question I'm about to ask, but
Don't be.
no, I just wanted to know: did you ever think about going solo? Because Justin's going.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I just never did. I like the ensemble. I like being able to be with peers and people and performing with them, because when you're by yourself, honestly, it's boring as hell. Seriously, I'm not kidding you. Every time I see him, I was like, bro, you look lonely up there. I don't care what you say. You're dancing with everybody else and doing your thing, but he's the main focus. So when you have 5 guys in the group and the 5 is the focus, it puts the burden less off of that person. Think about it. It's always on their shoulders.
Yeah.
He writes the album, that's him. If we do the album, it's on us. You know what I mean? It's not just one to dig in. You know what I mean? That's like a person with a restaurant. You know, you got Guy Fieri who's like, you know, has these restaurants. People do a whole bad rap name about him. They're like, oh, he's crushed for a minute. You know what I'm just saying? Just, you know, it is what it is. But you know, people like things and like what they want. Get on the back.
Hi, Joey.
How you doing?
Question.
Answer.
Living or not,
Right.
acting and performing, who would be like?
Sinatra. Or Shakespeare, one or the other, yeah. I mean, you want to go different routes. I mean, like, Shakespeare, teach me. And Sinatra, I want to hang with you, dude. You know? Thank you. Go ahead.
Joey, what is going on with Fat Ones? Is
What
it
about
gonna
it?
stay mobile, or are you gonna?
Right now, it's still mobile. We're talking about putting a freestanding, like, actual store. We did it in the Florida Mall in Orlando.
Right.
Expensive as heck. We weren't making any money, so we got out of that. We have a food truck now, which has been going great. And just really trying to figure out where to really put it. I'm very... Yeah. I want to, but I just, when people blow restaurants up like that, it sometimes go completely different because then the management team of that restaurant sometimes likes to change menus. And just like McDonald's would say, when you go to one place and you go to another, it's the same where you go. Sometimes they decide to manipulate it because they want a cheaper product or they want this and that. So I'm really trying to have that control over it, not just throw my name somewhere and go, hey, Fat Ones, hot dogs, and it tastes like crap. So yeah.
Delicious, by the way.
Thank you, appreciate that. Go ahead.
Out of all the celebrities and actors and singers you've met, have you found anyone like rude to you?
Have you ever found a couple of celebrities? There you go. There's your answer. One was, he's dead now and I can say it, Prince, that son of a biatch. He loved his music. Oh my God. We had a party. We were at an nsync after party. It was us and Nelly. Right after we won the awards at MTV, did all this stuff. So many celebrities came to this party for us. It was crazy. It was like one of those things of, these people are actually here to hang out with us and Nelly. This is weird. So here's Prince at our party. We're in a VIP second balcony looking down at people that are there. Mind you, all these people that are invited are people we all invited. So it's not like fans, it's not like people trying to take pictures, not people. And back in the day, of course, talking about old stuff, I had the wind-up camera. When you didn't know what was going to happen until you developed them. So I was taking pictures like with Lisa Left Eye, Timberland, all these people here, blah, blah, blah. Prince is standing there talking to somebody. I'm like, cool, I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to ask him. Our party, right here. All of a sudden, I'm waiting. Finally, the person he was talking to walks away. He is by himself. I go, hey, Prince, how you doing? Joey, yeah, no, you want to say, man, you mind if I take a picture? He goes, I'd rather not. And turns around as if to talk to somebody else, and nobody was there. And I was like, okay. And I walked away, and I was like to my spirit, I'm like, get his ass out of here right now. Get him out of here. And they're like, we can't, he's Prince. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But it was one of those things I was like, oh, man. Crushed, right? Still makes great music though, but I was taller than him anyway, so maybe. I was like, Prince, can I take a picture? He is tiny, he's a tiny dude. So yeah, there are people out there that are, I don't even know if it's rude. I mean, again, he wasn't really like rude, but he just was just not into it. And you go, all right, and I respect that because I understand we don't know what's going through his mind. You don't know what kind of day that person has had. Yes, should everybody be on and be like, not everybody's like that. That's the problem. Usually it's kind of like, great. Something might have happened in their home and they're pissed, because I've done it where I walked down to Disney one time and I had an argument with my ex-wife. And someone's like, hey, can I take a picture? I'm like, not right now. I'm sorry, but I can't do it. And I just get quiet. I said sorry. So yeah, get that. Way in the back. Do I have any dirt on any celebrities? Where do you want to start? There's a lot of dirty people that need to take showers. Some people don't shower. They gotta, ooh, stinky, stinky. Not dirty. No, there's not a lot of dirt, honestly. For me, I don't pry on people's stuff. For me, and what you see is what you get. I have, thank goodness, I have no dirt, not that I know of. Unless someone's gonna come out with something, okay, but it's weird. I don't know, I just never got into people's tabloid stuff, or never, unless it was something close, I'd be like, oh dude, what's up with that? Like Joe Gatto. I don't know what happened, for Jokers. He's literally wrote a whole letter saying he can't do it, and I just said, hey man, hope everything's all right. We'd love to sit down and hang out and have a talk. It's like, cool man, love that too, great. That's it. Yeah, I don't get into people's dirt. I'll let you know though, if I find out. Way in the back. Yes, brother, what's up? Heck yeah. No. I have no idea. I'd love to, but I mean, again, it's Joe. Joe was the man on that one. I mean, let's be real. All of them were, but he had no fear whatsoever. That dude did not care, and he's good at it. He's really good at it. So yeah, I'll probably come out and do stuff. We're actually going to be shooting some more after party stuff. So as far as the show that I host, they already called me. I think we're shooting in April at some point because they've already shot episodes as well, and they're bringing some celebrities in to fill in those gaps. Yes, you had your hand up with the mask. Yep. Go ahead.
Hi. When I was in high school, I was really excited that you were going to be in Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. Can you tell us how that came to be and everything you went through?
Yeah, there wasn't in it. They cut us out.
Did you get to go to Lucasfilm or?
Oh yeah, no. We went to ILM. People don't know. There was a whole big rumor about nsync being in the Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Some of us actually were, but then they cut it out because we were SAG, and usually they got to pay the SAG rights to it. We only signed a confidentiality thing, which we didn't say anything, but they had to cut us out of it. What happened was we went to ILM. It was myself, I think it was me, Chris, Lance, and my brother. And we stayed over into Industrial Light Magic. We stayed over at the Skywalker Ranch, went over to ILM, went around this whole tour, and they're like, hey, we shoot scenes, they shoot extra stuff. They already shot the main stuff, but they shoot extra stuff like the clone, the fights, some of the, they need some people in backgrounds and stuff. So they're like, hey, would you like to be in it? I was like, are you serious? Or you're lying, right? They're like, no. They put us in the wardrobe. I had a Padawan tail. George actually came out and directed us, which was really cool. Somebody was videotaping this, so I asked Rick McCallum, who's the producer of Star Wars, how do I get this footage? He's like, I can't give it to you. I was like, why? So there's actual footage of it, though, and there's actual footage of us shooting, doing it. It was just a cool experience. The funniest thing was, I remember, is me and my brother we had a fight. We were in this thing, basically just a big green screen. So we're literally just fighting nothing. They said, pretend like you're forced to do this. So we had this little funny thing, but now us idiots are going, vroom, vroom, vroom. And I looked at my brother like, dude, we can't make those noises. We're making faces, bro. You can't do that. So it was during the fight scene that when we were supposedly in, and then the other scene we were supposed to be in is when Yoda and Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, were walking down that hallway in that corridor, and Yoda is floating in that little hover thing. That was one of the other scenes that we were supposed to be in. We weren't. So it sucks.
Can you try to get the footage since it's been 20 years?
I'm trying. Trust me, I'm trying. I ask every few years. I'm like, who's gonna be easy just to give it to me or something? I don't know, but yeah, there's the footage of that. And they even said, because I shaved my head really, really short. Supposedly they digitally put like a mohawk on me or something. Because one of the women that did the wardrobe I was friends with, and she even told me she saw the footage, and she saw it prior to, but then again, then it wasn't. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And then I saw George a couple weeks later, and then I'm like, yo, what happened? And he just laughed. Okay, fine. Yep. Go right ahead.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Go for it.
Uh-oh.
No one's
right.
ever put me on the spot, ever.
Oh, no.
Kidding.
Bring it. All right. She loves the song Bye Bye Bye. Can you sing a little verse of it?
I don't know. How's it go?
Oh, hell no.
What?
No. Nope, it's
I'm
you.
singing. How's it go? I'll sing along with you in a minute. You got to sing it first. Oh, I put you on the spot, didn't I?
We're all here for you.
Well, what do you do? What do you do for a living?
I am actually a stay-at-home mom with my daughter.
Gotcha. I love it. As you should. As you should. Well, then I'm coming over and you're going to take care of me too. You asked me to sing. I want you to take care of me too. That's good, right? How's it start? Tell me. Come on. You got to help me out here.
You're starting to suck.
No, you got to help me out. Come on now.
Well, I can always cheat.
How the words. Yeah, how the words. Tell me how the words go. It's good.
There we go.
Yeah, but how's it go? Out that door, bye, bye, bye. Don't wanna be a fool for you. Just another player in your game for two.
All right, Justice time.
You may hate me, but it ain't no lie. What? Thank you all for you. Appreciate it. See? All I wanted you to sing with me. I didn't say I wasn't going to. Come on, we gotta work for this stuff, right? Anyone else? Bueller?
Joey, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
When are we going to get a Joey Fatone tell-all book?
Yeah.
Don't you guys want to know everything about Joey?
Never.
Maybe as big as
I'm taking stories to my grave.
I'll be posting mine.
Somebody else got dirt on you.
You may
No,
not be
somebody
allowed.
does, right? No, you know what? I've talked about it. We actually have talked about it. It's so funny because like there's certain things, it's weird.
Your stories are.
Well, not only that, it's weird because I don't remember everything. But it's weird when you start talking about certain things or when you see something like, oh yeah, that's right, I remember when we did this, and then things will start coming back. But it's really funny when some of us get together, like me and Lance. Lance will say something to me one day, and I'm like, dude, I have no idea. Or I'll say something like, hey, you remember that time when we went here and we did this? He's like, nope. I'm like, because it was honestly, I can tell you, it was a whirlwind during those times. I mean, we were on the go constantly. It was nonstop. The minute we were done with the tour, we were already recording the next album or shooting some video or doing an award show. And every time we did an award show, we tried to do new choreography or change it up. So we were in the studio, rehearsing. Okay.
My favorite Joker style. Who's yours?
My favorite Joker? That's tough. I like everybody. I do.
Pretend like you don't even know.
All right, Joe. Joe's my favorite.
All right, Joey, we just want to say thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you to the fans. Everybody, it's been amazing. The questions have been great. Thanks for actually showing up. Right?
You know what? Yeah, that's right. Screw Nick Carter. Woo!
Take care, guys.
Thank you guys. We'll see you again. Have a good one.